if we look at emotionality and grief as a body of water, which is often seen as in the likening and analogy space, for me, you're swimming on top of the surface and you're always afraid a little bit of what's underneath because you don't know what's there, but you kind of block it out. And then all of a sudden when these things start happening is you get pulled down, and you get pulled down where color starts to leave. The first thing that you do is you're panicking for your breath. In life, in this life, you're panicking for breath because you're afraid of letting go. And at some point, even though you're out of breath, you're still alive. You're still looking at the world, and you feel like you can't make it out of that space, but you're still functioning, and people are still doing things, and the grocery store is still open, and you're still driving your car. And then all of a sudden, the color from the world starts to dissipate, and the reds go first, the warmth goes first, and then eventually the blues start to go. You get down, and then light itself starts to disappear, and the water's getting cold. You're going all the way down. And at this point, you've kind of forgotten that you needed to breathe at some point. And this place in grief is like such a scary place because you don't know if there's a bottom, and you don't know if you're ever going to hit it. And I think what can happen in this space of grief is you get weirdly comfortable, not comfortable, but you weirdly accept that things may never change, and you just think you're going to fall forever. And eventually your feet hit this soggy bottom of the ocean, right? And there's no light, and you still haven't taken that breath, but you're still okay, you're still there, and it's cold. And then it's about making peace with that. And there's some part of you, if you're going to fight that, this is the place. This is as deep as it goes. I've been there. I've been on that edge point where you go, I don't know if I want to live this life anymore. I don't know if I want to be in this body anymore. My choice is to not be in this body or not be in this space, or to come to grips with maybe this is the reality now. And from that place, this is what's so beautiful. From that place where you come to peace with the mud around your feet and the cold and the lack of light, is one day the silt and everything just shifts a little bit. There's just a baby earthquake somewhere in your heart, somewhere in the world, and the ground loosens up and you just start floating up. And you're not desperate to swim to the surface because you know how far it is. And you don't know where you're going to stop, where the buoyancy will be. But you just start coming up. Suddenly the water gets a little warmer, and there's suddenly some light coming back through again. And you're like, wow, light, this is so beautiful. Oh, this place is so beautiful, right? Oh, the warmth on my skin. And you come up and suddenly you see blue for the first time. You're like, oh, blue, wow, this is fucking amazing, right? And you come through the color range. And suddenly you're coming up to the coral reef of your life and you're looking around. Meanwhile, you've learned to breathe underwater. But you're looking around and you're seeing turtles and coral and you're just like, what is this place? This life is such a beautiful gift. Holy shit. I didn't know that when I was on top of, not the world, but on top of the surface of the water. And you come up eventually and your head comes up over the surface. And what was really interesting for me from this place is I didn't gasp for air. You just suck it in real slow and deep. And you look around and you go, okay, now I start living. Now I know. And that place, once you've been there and touched it, becomes a cornerstone of every breath that you take. Because you're not afraid of the depth of life and you're not afraid of the death of things anymore. You have an understanding of what it means to be in that place. At the same time, the revelry, the beauty, the gratitude that you have is 1,000,000x. And yet, when you meet somebody else in grief, you see them and you're like, I get it. And you don't even say, I get it. You just show up and your presence is like, yeah, I know this place. I'm safe for this person. And it's probably one of the greatest gifts that I ever received, was knowing that from this place, I could then understand grief as a universal theme, real grief, and how to show up for other people in life with that, and how to be compassionate and how to hold space without going into their world, without getting into their well and their water, but just knowing, hey, it's a beautiful day up here. I'm not going anywhere. You know, when you come up to the surface for breath, we're going to be right here. We can't wait to see you again.